Welcome back to Alpha Omega Winery for another Wine Club allocation video. I'm your virtual ambassador, Barrett Spiegel, and we cannot wait to dive into these two wines with you guys today. This is our July club release, and guys, this is a heavy hitter allocation. It's featuring our Cabernet Franc 2021 and our Atlas Peak AVA Cabernet Sauvignon, also from the 2021 vintage. These are incredible wines. These are small production wines, and I'm so excited that we're releasing this in July. We also have an amazing food demonstration once again that we're gonna share with you guys. So crack open some Alpha Omega wine, sit back, enjoy what we're presenting today, and we hope you enjoy our discussion as well. Guys, I mean, another beautiful day in Napa Valley.
Amazing.
Look at this.
Amazing.
Life is good. We're so happy to transport you here to Napa Valley. We're at our estate in Rutherford. And again, I'm joined here by our winemaking team, winemaker Matt Brain.
Great to be here, Barrett.
Good to see you, my man. Associate winemaker Melissa Paris.
Yep, that's me. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone.
Love it. Cannot wait. Guys, these wines are incredible. These are two wines that I know for a fact sell out really, really quick. Small production.
Yeah.
Just as July.
Yeah, you know, two great representations of an amazing vintage. And now that we're really into the 2021 vintage here at Alpha Omega, we're kind of celebrating the quality of that fantastic vintage. And two kind of very different wines for us to look at today. I'm really excited to dive into them.
Paris Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Franc. Everybody wants it. It
Yeah.
goes too fast.
Too fast. You know, and it's fun. We'll dive into it in a little bit, but you know, Cab Franc is probably one of the ones that Matt and I love to blend the most because we get to source Cab Franc from all over Napa Valley. So being able to have it shine in a standalone varietal like this is pretty spectacular. So
Very exciting. Can't wait. Also incredibly exciting. Once again, we have our amazing chef, Chef Jesse McCory, joining us today with an awesome food pairing. Great recipe that we want our guests to enjoy. So Matt, let's check in with Chef and see what he's got going for us today.
Chef, we've got two fantastic reds. Tell us a little bit about the recipe you've got here for us to match up with these two great wines.
Cheers. We have a pan-roasted rack of lamb with a wild mushroom crust. It's basically just a rack of lamb that we've marinated. We've got a beautiful marinade for you in the recipe. We marinate it overnight, sear it, make a mushroom duxelle, which is a classic French preparation.
Yes.
It's basically roasted and ground mushrooms. We use whatever mushrooms we can find. So you can use white button mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, foraged wild mushrooms. That's all listed in the recipe. Grind those up, add some mascarpone cheese, some egg yolk, and some whipped cream, which makes the crust really light and airy.
Yeah.
Spread the crust over the top of your seared lamb rack, bake it in the oven, make a quick pan sauce with some beautiful red wine and butter, and we're done.
Chef, it sounds amazing. I cannot wait to get into some of the flavor aroma matching
It's gonna be
in this
amazing.
dish. It's going to complement these wines incredibly.
It is.
We'll circle back in a little bit and check
right.
on you.
Look
Thank you,
forward to it.
Chef.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All
Pan
good
roasted
things.
rack of lamb.
Here we go.
Come on.
Here we go.
I think this is going to go great with both of these wines.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
Me too.
Guys, let's get right into it. I mean, at Alpha Omega, obviously our Cabernet Sauvignon is really what a lot of people recognize the brand for, but we're also making single varietal wines with the other four Bordeaux varieties.
We do.
And this Cabernet Franc over the years has turned into one of those wines where once it's released, it's gone immediately.
Yep.
And so this is the new vintage, the 2021.
Yes.
And this, I think, is one of the first wines from this vintage that we're featuring this year, Matt.
Yeah, that's right. It's as I said, it's so fun to be finally diving into these 2021 wines, an incredible vintage, and so fun to be presenting a Cab Franc, which, as you mentioned, is very popular here at Alpha Omega, but it's very popular across the Napa Valley. People might be interested to know that the average price for Cabernet Franc grapes is higher than Cab Sauv. Not because it's in more demand or more prestige, but there's just so little of it that it's hard to find, and it's hard to find the great stuff. We're lucky that we've got access to, as Paris said, some great Cabernet Franc vines across the valley that we're able to put this fantastic blend together, and I wish we had more of it. It's going to go fast, and as I said, Cabernet Franc, very, very popular here in Napa these days.
Yeah, in Paris, I mean, when you talk about Cabernet Franc, stylistically, characteristics, I mean, for me, I always get a nice a background of red fruit,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit of like an earthy spiciness to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this on the nose for 2021 just
Yeah, it's singing, right?
Yeah.
It's also, Cab Franc is also one of those things that you can have a really, really luscious Cab Franc and get all those nice red notes and the herbal and all of that. But you can also have a Cab Franc that's very, very subdued. And a lot of places will do a Cab Franc that has more of that green kind of background to it. We like to do a little bit of both. I get a little bit of everything in this Cab Franc, which was fantastic. And that's the other part about the Cab Franc that we source is we're everywhere all over Napa Valley. When we say that, we're talking about Coombsville, we're talking about Atlas Peak, we're talking about up in St. Helena, we're talking about everywhere. So we really get to dive into all of those flavor components and make sure that they're singing individually before we put them into a blend.
That's perfect. I mean, that's the Alpha Omega way, right?
Yeah.
We utilize the diversity of Napa Valley to our advantage, and this Cabernet Franc has multiple appellations.
It sure does. As Paris mentioned, there's a lot of Coombsville in here, St. Helena, and Oak Knoll as well. And I love the way Paris described what we love about Cabernet Franc, and that is, you know, to have this rich, luscious fruit, which is what we do here at AO, but have a hint of that herbal character, because the way that the fruit blends into the herbaceousness in Cab Franc, in my mind, is really what separates it from Cab Sauv. And so if you pick the Cab Franc too late and don't have any of that beautiful herbaceousness, you kind of lose a little bit of the identity that Cab Franc has. So although we've got a powerful, dense wine here, we've got great, bright, red fruit, but also that nuanced herbaceousness that I think, Barrett, you mentioned it tends to be more earthy and spicy than the green notes that we get in Cab Franc. It makes it very distinct, and it's really presented well, I think, in this wine.
This wine smells incredible,
Doesn't it?
and just explodes on the nose. And then when you get it on the palate, again, I love the fact that you guys have made a varietally correct wine here, but in the Alpha Mega style, which is big and bold, but still soft and smooth.
Yeah.
What's the winemaking process on this wine like for you guys?
Yeah, so like all of our blends and most of our single vineyards, there's a good deal of barrel fermentation in this wine. I think in this wine we actually have a little bit more tank fermentation than some of the blends to make sure that that purity of the red fruit and the subtlety of the herbaceous notes shine through and are not overwhelmed by some of that barrel fermentation, which can be very impactful sometimes. I would say that the oak we use here is also a little tighter grain, a little bit more restrained on toasting, so that those nuances really shine and really come forth in the glass.
Yeah, we're not looking for the big flashy barrel kind of component here, actually at all. The little bit of Cab Sauv that we have in this blend as the backbone to it was actually a tank fermented portion of Cab Sauv anyway, and that was just to make sure that nothing big and huge was going to come in and impact that really delicate, more of those red fruit notes and those herbal qualities.
Excellent. And one final question for you two, because I love to chat with winemakers on what they're smelling and tasting. Paris, the first thing that comes to your mind when you smell and taste this Cabernet Franc?
Oh gosh, well, smell and taste is two different things for me. So the smell, I back you up with the red fruit. You get a little bit of that strawberry. There's hibiscus there for me. But on the palate, it gets a little bit more herbal and savory, almost like Thanksgiving dinner. You know, you get those kind of really nice. I get a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of sage, and the herbs come out a little bit more for me on the palate. What about you, Matt?
That's why I have to ask. I mean, it's just so well put together.
Yeah, very.
Me too, I second
really
that.
close.
You second that? Chef Jesse second
She's
that?
describing
right
this,
on
and I'm
those
going,
notes.
yep, amazing.
You're thinking about the food, right? You're thinking about
Well,
how
I'm
it's
thinking
gonna
about
pair.
it. It's amazing how she can denote all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she's a winemaker.
That's right.
She's really
That's
good.
amazing.
and
That's
we
right.
have her. Matt, I mean, another great wine. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of tension in this wine. There's a lot of structure here. What I love is it is wound up. It's a very young 21.
Yeah.
We did get a lot of great structure in 21, but it's not so wound up that you can't see the flow of the fruit across the palate. The herbs are individual. The oak component is integrated, but it's there.
Yeah.
I think it's a very classy wine. It's a powerful but classy wine. A wine that's going to come around nicely in the next couple of years, but sorry, Barrett, I have to say it, really a truly age-worthy wine here.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
this Cab Franc is really one of those 15, 20, 25-year wines. It's going to
Agreed.
age very, very gracefully over time. But that, as we always talk about, that barrel fermentation technique that we utilize kind of softens some of the edges of those tannins, bridges that mouthfeel a little bit, and makes that smooth flow on the palate.
Great to know. And, talking about 2021 before we segue into our Atlas Peak here, another great vintage here in Napa Valley, but kind of a lower yielding vintage. altogether, correct?
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, and it tends to correlate that way. You know, we had very dry winters that year, so we didn't get that push from the ground that we're going to get this year. So we're kind of excited about starting from a nice kind of position of rain this year. But yeah, limited yields in that vintage, but very high quality across the board.
Yeah.
Well, what that tells me is that I'm going to be stocking up on some Cabernet Franc 2021 because let me tell you guys, when this wine releases, get to the club, people crack it, the reorders come back almost immediately, and it's gone in a couple months. And then people call and say, Barrett, where's the Cabernet Franc? And I'm like, this is what happens when it's really good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those kind of unicorn varieties for us at Alpha Omega, and it releases in July, and then you got barbecue season coming around, and goodbye, Cabernet Franc.
Yeah, that's it. It's not going to last long. One of those smaller releases from us. Grab it while you can, I suppose.
Get it while you
Absolutely.
can. Delicious wine, guys. Well done. Cabernet Franc 2021, my friends. Very excited about the initial taste of this 2021 vintage here from Napa Valley and Alpha Omega. But let's just bounce over here quickly to what is probably one of my favorite AVAs, one of Alpha Omega's favorite AVAs.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about vineyards like Stagecoach, vineyards like Cordes,
Yes.
where we're producing some incredible single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignons. But I love this AVA series, Matt and Melissa.
Yeah.
And this is our AVA, Atlas Peak AVA Cabernet Sauvignon.
That's right. That's right. This is not the first iteration of Atlas Peak AVA for us. And as you mentioned, we've got some incredible vineyards up there on the top of the peak.
Smells great.
And in 2021, you know, we had some really nice early ripening trends up there on the mountain, and we had some nice heat up there. We really got the ripeness that we love about Atlas Peak. And so we've got some real lush fruit here, some red fruit, some black fruit, and some purple fruit, I think, all together. Very complex, a little bit more in that hedonistic style that Alpha Omega is known there for. You know, and certainly the majority of this wine is from our Cordes vineyard, which we all know is a flashy, ripe, very sexy style of,
You got Cordes
Cabernet.
in here.
Yeah, that's our
Majority.
big
Okay.
that's our big component.
Cordes and some Stagecoach as well.
And
but
some Stagecoach,
majority
and actually a little bit of a vineyard
Wow.
called Circle R that we're working with more and more up there. It's
a great vineyard.
It's a fantastic
Tiny vineyard.
vineyard.
Wonderful vineyard.
Yeah, we're actually looking at some new blocks up there, and potentially looking at some planting up there to spill a little beans with our viewers here. So a bunch of vineyards that we just love to work with. An incredible growing year up on Atlas Peak in 21. And I think you can see it in the lush nature of the fruit, but also it still retains that volcanic character that you expect to see from wines on Atlas Peak.
And I mean, well said. I was just about to mention that. I mean, it's that rocky volcanic soil.
Yeah.
You can taste it in like
Yeah.
the salinity and the acidity in this Cabernet. But Matt, to your point, I mean, look at the color. Talk about hedonist. I mean, look at that color. Lush, Paris. Atlas Peak wines have just been kind of a staple here at Alpha Omega over the
Definitely.
last 13, 14 years. Now we're getting into these AVA wines and putting some great fruit in there.
Yeah, and that's the fun about this AVA series. I mean, we're able to give this expression of what we're trying to show. That's not site specific. That's not just for a particular vineyard, but is for that region. When I first moved here, I was like, where the heck is Atlas Peak? And I knew where about it was, but it was so different when I got up there and I started looking at it and walking around and understanding the topography and what everything is made of. And every time I taste anything that's Atlas Peak, I always go back to my first time up there, walking around and taking in the view and looking at it all and going, there's no way that I could mistake this AVA for Rutherford or
Right.
for
Right.
Oakville. Like,
For sure.
it is so specific.
Yeah.
And I think you said it really well, Matt. Like, it's got all the structure, it's got all the red, almost that purpley blue black that it's pushing towards. But yeah,
I'm smelling rack of lamb.
Yeah, me too. Me too. What a combination.
It jumped from back there into your glass.
It did. It sure did. Yeah,
I mean,
what a compliment.
Seriously, layers for days on this. You guys, I knew the Cabernet Franc was going to blow me away. This has been kind of like a whoa.
Right?
Yeah,
This
you
is-
know,
this is
what I really love about this wine is you approach it, the aromatics, and you get a really beautiful ripe character. And maybe you go to taste the wine and think, I'm going to get some really soft, kind of very almost a very approachable tannin that's just ready to go. And then you're like, no, not at all.
Atlas Peak.
That is Atlas Peak tannin. That
Yeah.
is a mouthful
Yeah.
of tannin that's going to keep this wine wound up and muscular for just years and years and years. So I think it's got the best of both worlds from that appellation. I don't know if we talked about it much, but we do have some small percentages of Malbec and Petit Verdot in with this Cabernet, just to kind of keep pushing it in that purple kind of category. We got some great blenders up on the mountain.
I was just going to say, those blenders are key for this.
Amazing blenders. Some of the strongest blenders that we get across the valley really are from Atlas Peak. So we always do the exercise to see how they work with the Cabernet Sauvignon from the vintage, and those two varieties work very well to frame this cab, so we brought them in this year.
Okay, yeah, and that's just a quick question from a consumer standpoint. You know, in the winemaking world, obviously Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, but what does the Malbec, you know, obviously it adds some flavor and some color. What does the Malbec and then the Petit Verdot do for the wine from your perspective?
Yeah, so for me, I'll talk to the Malbec maybe first.
Sure.
I know Paris really loves to talk about Petit Verdot, but Malbec for me brings in, number one, it ripens early. So you can pick it with very ripe characters and actually have a lower alcohol than you would think. So it really brings balance to a warm year, just in terms of controlling that alcohol. But it brings in this beautiful blue-black character that works very well with Cordes in general, because Cordes always has a hint of those notes in its Cab Sauv. So we brought those in to push that a little bit. Malbec tends to have a little bit softer tannin, and you can see that the tannin profile of this wine is absolutely as muscular as it needs to be. Yeah. So that Malbec helps smooth that out a little bit and tame down some of those tannins without us having to fine, because we really don't ever want to fine the wine and bring those tannins out. We would rather use blenders to mitigate and smoothen them out on the palate.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and Petit Verdot is kind of the opposite of that, if you think about it in a weird way. But Petit Verdot is like your relief pitcher coming in at the end. You know, it's a varietal that it does really well in the heat. It's got a thick skin. It does well up on the mountains. It also does well in cooler regions as well because of that thick skin. But especially up on Atlas Peak, it can take a lot more than other varietals can. So it's almost like that last reinforcement that you bring in. And then once you actually get through the ferment, which you can be rough, you can be tough, when you get through the ferment and you get through all of that pressing off and everything, you end up with this beautiful, huge, masculine kind of feel to it. And all the time, whenever we're using Petit Verdot for blending in any of our wines, it always is for structure. It always is for maybe a little bit of color, but mostly it's for a kind of a thing for Chef Jesse. It's like the salt at the very end that you put on your steak right before you're going to eat it. It's just that little bit of a top. Yeah, I love Petit Verdot.
Yeah,
and I love blending
me too.
with Petit
We love
Verdot.
blending with Petit Verdot.
Love it, love it. All I got to say is Robin Baggett would be proud of you for that baseball reference
welcome, Robin.
on the Petit Verdot there. The relief pitcher coming in to close it out.
I like baseball.
Very well done.
I like
Yeah,
baseball.
But, you know, Petit Verdot, the backbone, Malbec, the softening, but structure adding in color. I mean, this is like this is amazing, this wine.
Yeah, this wine
very,
is
very
very
well done.
serious. Fans of Atlas Peak are going to absolutely love this wine.
Love it.
Well, the wind's picking up. We're blown away here, but we're having a blast. I mean, these wines are delicious. But again, I can't smell anything else other than the searing going on and the alarms going on. Was that a duck? What was that?
Was it laughing? was it Beavis? Butthead? Oh.
Excellent. But that means it's time to go check in with Chef Jesse. Matt, so why don't you go see what we've got going on back here? How that roasted rack of lamb.
Chef, we heard the alarm. It sounds like we're getting
I
close.
was getting nervous in the timing. I was like, keep talking.
No, you're running back and forth, getting this thing ready for us. It smells just
We
amazing.
actually are cooking here today. So,
Yes, this is live cooking. This is Chef in action here.
let me show you what we have here.
Yeah.
The camera can get this. This is just right out of the oven.
Oh, look at that.
So that's the mushroom crust. I love this dish. And you can use this mushroom crust on fish. Halibut's amazing, any kind of white fish, even salmon, excellent.
Yes.
Pinot Noir. In this case, it's rack of lamb. And I just love the herbaceous, the earthy notes
Yeah.
of the lamb. It's gonna and the mushrooms. It's gonna pair so well with both of these wines.
Exactly. You've got some creaminess, some softness. All these savory notes are really, really bringing out the fruit in the wine to me, and also the barrel components. It's an amazing match. I think it's a match that goes with almost any type of wine, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So savory, so earthy. Just an incredible aroma I'm getting back here.
Yeah.
As Barrett just mentioned, the wind picking up, and it's pushing it right in our direction. So I'm telling you, aromatically, it's just an incredible match, Chef. And you know what? I love the visual presentation of a rack
It's
of
stunning,
lamb too. You know, in the rack whole, when you slice it up to the plate, it's just a beautiful presentation, isn't it?
Slice right between the bones, and you'll get little chops.
Yep.
And it's great. It's great for a party. It's great for holidays. It's great for just a plated meal.
Amazing. I love the little browning that you have on this crust here, and you know
just
that
comes from
inside that
roasting it.
crust, it's nice and
And you
moist.
see how light the crust is?
Yeah.
That's from folding the whipped cream in.
Okay.
But it's very rich, but light at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Amazing, and really accentuating the earthy, savory characters of the lamb. Folks, you've got to check out this
This is gonna be your
recipe.
go-to mushroom
Honestly,
crust, I'm
look at
telling you.
this.
It's amazing.
Just an
Use
amazing,
it
amazing
anything.
smell. Thank you so much,
You
Chef. Incredible job. Well done.
Thank you.
As always.
My pleasure.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, that one's going in the arsenal for me. I'm gonna have to do that
I'm
one.
gonna make that multiple
I
times.
mean,
Chef's kind of a master of the lamb, you know?
Master of the lamb.
I want to become a master of the lamb.
Yes,
Well,
me too.
you know, there's a way you can do that,
I know.
Matt.
Follow
and
the
if
recipe.
you go to our website, aowinery.com, you'll see a variety of amazing recipes that Chef Jesse has put together in food demonstrations. So that is on our website, aowinery.com. If you go to Wine Club and past Wine Club shipments at the bottom of that page, you'll see the last few Wine Club releases. We do a great discussion on those wines, and we do a food demonstration with Chef Jesse. And a lot of these there's classic pairings, and then there's pairings that you would have thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why he's really good at what he does.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that, lamb for me is just all day. I mean, come on, it's
the
lamb.
best. It's my favorite.
It's a delicacy for me.
And it's so
good.
aromatic, and it's
Yeah.
so distinct.
Yeah.
You know, when you cook, the kitchen just gets filled with those aromas. And I love, as Chef mentioned, for hosting guests, then that aroma is in the air, and
Yep.
people come in, and you've been working on some lamb, they're ready to go.
And it
at
makes
that
you want to
point.
drink
Hungry.
red wine.
It sure
Oh,
does,
gosh.
right?
That does.
Sure
That
does.
I cannot wait to beeline it right behind me here and check this out
Yeah.
in a second here. But guys, really hope you enjoyed our discussion today for our July club release. This might be my favorite club release so far of the year. I don't want to play favorites, but let's be real. The Cabernet Franc 2021 is a unicorn wine here at Alpha Omega. It goes very, very fast. So stock up on this. Even if you've already got in your club and you haven't opened it, just trust us that this is one of those wines you're going to want to stock up on because it will sell out fast. And then you have this Atlas Peak AVA Cabernet Sauvignon, which to me was kind of this pleasant surprise of greatness. That's really, really good.
Thanks.
Despite its youth.
Yeah, honestly.
Really, really good.
Honestly, and it's a mouthful. It's they're both going to really start getting better with a little bit more bottle age. But
Yep, absolutely.
a really
They
great
got
start to their
nowhere
life
to
here.
go, but
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
over the years.
Well, here's what I think everyone should do. I think you watch this video, you do the food demonstration, you drink both of these with maybe 3-4 people,
Yep.
share them,
Yep.
and then you get some more because they taste great right now for me. I know you said this is an ageable vintage, the 2021 vintage,
For sure.
specifically with these two wines. I say drink them now and then buy more and then wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, track them as they age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a lot of
Get
fun in that.
super geeky about it.
Right. Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. Geek out. Enjoy these wines, my friends. A couple other things to mention to you. It's the summer here at Alpha Omega. There's so much going on. We have amazing events throughout the rest of the year. We've had a great year of events already. But a couple things to mention. On our website, aowinery.com, under the events tab, you'll see some fun events that are coming up down the line. One is it's Robin Baggett special here. It's the Smoke and Summer Barbecue.
Yeah.
That's Saturday, July 22nd.
You do not want to miss that
No,
one.
No.
that is a not to be missed event.
It's gonna be great.
Baggett
Yeah.
Barbecue.
Oh my
It doesn't
gosh.
get better. All of you out there, our club members, our loyal following that are familiar with Alpha Omega, you know we do not mess around when it comes to the barbecue world.
I mean, all you really need to bring is sunscreen and a hat.
Yeah.
You're good to
Yeah.
go for the whole day.
And an empty stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Sunscreen, hat, empty stomach. That's the Smoke and Summer Barbecue event, my friends. Get on that now. It will be sold out very, very quickly. Another one to mention for you, which very, very excited kind of towards the end of the summer event, Flavors of Summer in Single Vineyards, okay? Flavors of Summer and Single
Yep.
Vineyards. That's Saturday afternoon, August 26th.
Wow.
That is, let's just say it, single vineyard wines. What else do you
Yeah,
want?
I mean,
these
what-
are some of the best wines in Napa Valley, and certainly one of the best collections from Alpha Omega.
And what an opportunity to taste some of these fantastic single vineyard wines at futures pricing, all side by side, and walk back and forth and try it and go to the next one and try it again
Oh, so
and
fun.
really compare and find your favorites. And
Yeah.
what a great event.
Yeah.
Cannot
oh my
wait.
gosh.
It's all good.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be right when we're getting into it, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
August 26th.
That date, and I'm like,
August 26th.
It's almost like a pre-harvest party.
right? That's
know?
what we should call
Yeah.
it
It
for
is.
us. Pre-harvest party.
the last
with the
hurrah.
single vineyards.
Yeah,
The last hurrah before it's
Before it
24/7.
starts.
Before we disappear.
Yeah. Well, guys, unbelievable discussion today. I hope you all enjoy our wine club allocation for July here. I think you guys will. Great wines. Chef Jesse, thank you again for an amazing food
Chef,
demonstration.
Yes.
amazing chef.
That's
as always.
going in the
Beautiful.
arsenal.
Thank you.
And just want to remind you, if you're watching this video and you're new to Alpha Omega and you're not a member of our club, we are a wine club winery. Most of our wines get sent out to club members first, and then if there's anything left, we'll bring them back into the tasting room. So most of it goes direct, my friends. So the club is crucial. You get 20% off our signature wines. You get very well taken care of. You get invited to our events throughout the year.
Yeah.
So we would love to have you as a club member with us at Alpha Omega. Again, at our website, aowinery.com. Click on the wine club. Check out the options. You can do a red. You can do a mixed. And 2 bottles every other month is the minimum. If you can drink a bottle of Alpha Omega wine once a month, then you could join the club.
Yeah. That
is not
Easy.
difficult.
That's
Easy.
that's you know I don't even want to tell people where I'm at right now on Alpha Omega wine. We don't need to discuss that here, but would love to have you in our wine club and get you into the family and share some great wines with you guys today. Matt Brain, unbelievable. Thank you again.
So fun, Barrett. Thank
Melissa
you.
Paris,
Yeah.
amazing winemaking team here, and then Chef Jesse McQuarrie. You are the man.
Thank you,
Cheers,
brother.
chef.
Appreciate it, you guys.
Cheers. Guys,
Cheers.
we hope to see you again. Cheers, everyone. Next Wine Club release. Take care.